The world didn't give it to me. Oh, this joy that I have. The world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that? This joy that I have. The world didn't give it to me. Oh, I said the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. Oh, this love that I have. This love that I have. Oh, yeah, now. The world didn't give it to me. The world didn't give it to me. This love that I have. Oh, yeah, the world didn't give it to me. Don't you know that? This love that I have, yeah. The world didn't give it to me. Singing, the world didn't give it. The world can't take it away. The world didn't give it and the world can't take it.
Greetings, everyone. It's my very real pleasure and honor to be your master, person of ceremonies. I am the PC of ceremonies, and my name is Leslie Robinson. Debra is my friend, my minister, and Calgary Unitarians has become a home. I currently serve on the Board of Trustees. Today we have a lovely honoring of Debra's 11 years as minister of Calgary Unitarians. And it will be followed by a post-webinar party, so please plan to stay after our formal part of this recognition celebration. The link will be posted on the last slide in the chat. And before we do that, I want to share a few personal stories, introduce a few speakers, share a few gifts, and then Debra will speak. I met Debra on the island years ago. She was always talking about Unitarians even then and studying at Vancouver School of Theology. And I am forever grateful for the moment while Debra was interning in Ottawa and my teenage daughter who was studying there went into crisis and I couldn't get there. Debra took her out for a meal, a loving conversation, hugged her when I couldn't. And as I stumbled to thank her, I saw the power, the humility, the graciousness of Debra's ministry, as she said how much she appreciated being able to play mom to a daughter in need at a time when she was missing her own daughter. I knew something very special about Debra in that moment. So Debra came to Calgary first, and then I came. And Debra was my soft landing. She warmly welcomed me into her home. When I needed a few more nights, she arranged a few nights with a community member, lots of airport pickups, drop-offs. And I see that hospitality that you extended to me, that generosity in the microcosm of my life. I've seen that ripple throughout the macrocosm of the Calgary Unitarians and way beyond. Together, Debra and I explored Calgary, the symphony, the early bird specials at the River Cafe, choirs, pride parades, spectacular spontaneous road trips filled with moose, elk, wildlife in the Rockies, hiking Tunnel Mountain, golden days of Calgary's new mayor, the orange crush of Rachel Notley, and the new prime minister. And then we had the flood of 2013. We were always talking, always loving, always fun, and sometimes in tears. But I'm not a joiner, but I joined the Calgary Unitarians and I found a loving community. I lovingly remember the laughter, the foot tapping and cheering at cabaret, working in the kitchen for canoodle, devouring festive dinners with rich conversations, hearing stories of you, Debra, climbing the Calgary Tower, and so many of you at Standing Rock, of you crafting a new land acknowledgement with the local chief, of an award with the mayor, Nenchi, and another award for interfaith work from the King of Jordan, in Jordan, no less. You were always inclusive, Debra, and worked to bring people into their own leadership, with one particular moment of dictatorship in getting the incomparable Jane Perry as music director. Such a vital part of your joint ministry. As a non-singer, I personally found myself loving choir practice. During a tough time, we held packed town hall meetings and co-created the Covenant of Right Relations. And absolutely every time we sing our closing song, whether in person or now online, I feel our hands and our hearts connect, and tears run down my face. When I had a heart attack, it was you, Debra, who came straight to the hospital. And I was then again the recipient of that same power, humility, and graciousness of your ministry, as you had done with my daughter in Ottawa all those years ago. And so, beloved community, today I am honored to be the PC of ceremonies for Debra's 11 years as a minister of Calgary Unitarians. So let's hear now from friends and colleagues. Let the celebration begin.
And now for the land recognition. The inclusion of this in our services is perhaps a mark of Debra's time with us. We recognize our responsibility to be stewards of this land and acknowledge that we do this with those for whom this is their traditional territory. This includes the people of the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprising the Siksika, Pigunim, and Kainai First Nations, and also the Tsuut'ina First Nation and the Stoney Nakoda, including the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Wesley First Nations. They are all Treaty 7 region of Southern Alberta, a treaty which was signed on September the 22nd, 1877. Mohkinstsis, now known as the city of Calgary, is also home to Métis Nation of Alberta Region 3. In offering a land acknowledgement, we honor those who have long been the stewards and accept our shared responsibility for being good caretakers. We acknowledge that the treaties were entered into as a collaboration between settlers and the Indigenous people, making us all treaty people. Thank you very much.
Let us light our chalice, symbol of our inclusive faith. One small flame to illumine all that is sacred in our being together in beloved community. May it shine on beginnings and endings, on welcomings and farewells, and on new opportunities for growth. May it welcome all into this joyful celebration of love, friendship, collegiality, and shared ministry. With these words, we light our chalice.
And now let's meet some more people. It is my pleasure to introduce you to a collegial companion, a friend and fellow traveler, Sean Newton, who speaks about the love that Debra has for the people in your care.
Hello, good people of Calgary. Hello, Debra. Greetings from Toronto on this auspicious occasion. I realize this is a bittersweet moment, a time of transition, a time of celebrating all that you have accomplished together, a time of saying goodbye and marking the end of an era, and a time, it must be said, for embracing the new, possibilities still to be explored. Debra, as you take your leave, thank you. Thank you for your ministry, your dedication, your steady commitment to progress, and for your care for all those you have served. It has been an honor over these past 11 years to see you via Zoom at least once a month, often late at night, to talk through the slings and arrows of ministry, but also to speak always of the deep joy and meaning too. As your collegial companion through all of these years, I can attest to the depth of your love for the people in your care. Thank you for your ministry to them and to our wider movement. As you bring this chapter to a close, I send you all best wishes and hopes for peaceful days by the surf as the tide comes in and goes out. I wish you all many blessings on the way, to you and to the congregation, as you both open your hearts to the promise the future brings.
Our next guest has known Debra all her life, shares family intimacies, tendernesses, and sage advice. Please welcome Debra's brother, David Conklin.
Hello, Debra. I will keep it formal during this most wonderful occasion, avoiding any of the name variations we labeled you with in your younger years, like Debbie Joe and DJ and Revy D. I call it a wonderful occasion because it is yet another time to celebrate. Firstly, celebrate that your pilgrimage to this new doorway has been embraced, cultivated, and now harvested. The fruits of your journey have been nourished with great tenderness, compassion, and loving care. And as they have ripened and enriched those who move in your circle, so have they led you towards your own personal and significant advancement in character, understanding, and self-empowerment. Such elevated characteristics are neither easily achieved nor lightly recognized. Secondly, celebrate the opportunity that lies ahead in a new road, one as yet undetermined and just as surely untraveled. It is a fresh opportunity to plot new future with new surprises, otherwise missed revelations, and a spectacle of new curiosities. Each time our compass is shifted, a new piece of the circle is revealed. A quote from my first book: "A head turned to the past sees only history made, while one turned to the future spies destiny waiting." A final celebration is also to be embraced. You made it. Such a great reward to cap off life's achievements so far. You made it. It's a worthy reflection. It's a simple fact, but not everybody does. So as someone who's seen your life's journey throughout, albeit from a sometimes distant perch, I can easily recognize that you are a driven and creative individual. Not driven by the dollar bill or the political thrill, although they come in handy sometimes, but instead by a strong desire to be someone valuable, to be a person who finds strength and reward in expanding the cause of individual character and social responsibility. And in staying with my theme here, your journey towards becoming who you want yourself to be has shed much light on many of us who want to be more like you. What a beautiful parallel. I cannot think of a single person who has not been enriched through their interaction with you or through witness to your wisdom. Shine on, young lady. On a less profound observation, and as one who's enjoyed the unlimited space of retirement, go have some fun. I think you know my philosophy. Since every day is Saturday, every night is Friday night. I'm so very proud of you, and I love you dearly. Now go get them.
Sheila McMaster has been a staff member with the Calgary Unitarians for the past 4 years and is inspired by the support of her minister who always had her back. For this one, folks, you might want to push back your chairs and have a bit of a wiggle. Enjoy.
It is so great to see everyone out tonight, and a special hello to Debra. I'm Sheila McMaster, the Director of Religious Education here at the Calgary Unitarians, and it has been my privilege to work with Debra these past 4 years. Debra has always had my back, and she's always been a support to our staff team through good times and rough times. We have similar inspiration styles, and Debra's always open to creative ideas, you know, whether it's a congregation-wide turkey dance or, you know, snowflake themes or anything that we come up with. I feel like we bounced our ideas off of each other and came up with things that were so joyful and meaningful in this work that we do. And I'm so, so grateful. One thing that comes to mind when I think of Debra is the theme song from Golden Girls. And it has all the points. My tribute tonight for Debra is mainly in song. So I'll sing a few lines from Golden Girls. Thank you for being a friend. Travel down that road and back again. Your heart is true. You're a friend and a confidant. And if we had a party and we invited everyone you knew, you would see the biggest smile would be from me, and the card attached would say, thank you for being a friend. I love that song, and it always makes me think of Debra. And another song that, you know, as I was thinking about tonight, what to share, it's the final scene of one of my favorite movies, Dirty Dancing, and everyone comes together for a huge party. It's the end of summer, and it's really the end of an era, you know, and just like with Debra's retirement, it is for sure the end of an era. And when I think about the time that I've spent with Debra, I think I've had the time of my life, and I owe it all to you. And so I've changed out some of the lyrics, and feel free to dance along. It's in 2 parts, so I've temporarily cloned myself. So feel free to sing along. And here is I've Had the Time of My Life. Now I've had the time of my life. No, I never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's the truth. And I owe it all to you. 'Cause I had the time of my life. And I owe it all to you. I've been waiting for so long. Now I finally found someone to stand by me. We saw the writing on the wall, and we knew we'd make a great staff team. Now with fire in our eyes, we've got to work to help devise diversity. Working hand in hand, 'cause we seem to understand how to be Unitarian. You're the one minister I can't get enough of. So I'll tell you something. You will be missed because I've had the time of my life. No, I've never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. With my heart and soul, I appreciate you more than you'll ever know. Collaborating on the go, never afraid to lose control, no. Yes, I know it's on your mind when you say, what are we doing this week for the Sunday service? You're the one minister I can't get enough of. So I'll tell you something. Forever we'll be friends because I've had the time of my life. No, I never felt like this before. Yes, I swear it's the truth, and I owe it all to you. Debra.
Well, I don't know how you're doing. I'm crying and I'm laughing and I'm dancing. Vida is the executive director of the Canadian Unitarian Council, the CUC. And I invite you to enjoy her very official greeting and further insights into Debra's ministry.
Debra, remember when the national conference was in Calgary and you took me to the Scotch store? What a pleasure that was to spend some purely social time with you. And taste testing, of course. Perhaps I shouldn't have opened with that, but that is one of my favorite memories of you. During the years when you were Minister Observer on the CUC board, you held us accountable by asking discerning questions, and at the same time you provided a pastoral presence and a spiritual element to the board meetings. Those sessions were the richer for your presence. And through challenging and difficult times, your commitment to our national faith community has persevered. You have been part of strengthening the national fabric by building the Calgary Unitarians and by the generosity you dedicate to regional and national initiatives. I know your love for this faith is strong and your allegiance to it deep and abiding. So, Debra, here's to you. Here's to some rest and restoration first, and to a new, joyous path on your journey. Here's to knowing that you have done well, grasshopper, and to further mix my quotes, to know that all shall be well, and all shall be well, and all manner of thing shall be well. Joygin, which is not goodbye, but see you again. Go well.
Well, grasshopper. Our next guest is President of the Unitarian Universalist Ministers of Canada, UUMOC, and sends accolades and provides insights into the Unitarian roles from student through retirement. Please welcome Ann Barker.
I come to you with congratulations and gratitude from the Unitarian Universalist Ministers of Canada, our Canadian chapter of the Continental UU Ministers Association. As current president of UMOC, I have some small sense of the myriad ways that the Reverend Debra Falk has served our faith tradition and, more specifically, has served her UUMA family. She has held many leadership roles, some prophetic, some pastoral, always with a deep sense of integrity and a bountiful sense of commitment. Debra is admired and appreciated as a leader among her colleagues, not only for her wisdom, her caring, and her abundant generosity, but also for the many quiet ways she has worked to support her colleagues and our collective movement. UMOC and UUMA exist as members supporting members because we need one another to best serve our beloved faith tradition, to always be a learning ministry, to be agents of meaningful change in the world, and to reach for a healthy balance between careers of service and the rest of our lives. UMOC has a proud tradition of maintaining and respecting our connections with our retired colleagues, many of whom continue to serve in organizational and denominational roles. Having relationships with people in all stages of ministry, from student through retirement, enriches each one of us. Debra has been, and we hope will continue for many years to be, a beloved part of who we are. We celebrate this profound transition with you, Debra, with deep gratitude for all that you have contributed, seen and unseen, in your years of faithful ministry, but most especially gratitude for the opportunity to work and play alongside you, a leader among us in service to your colleagues as well as to your congregations and to our movement. We hope to share in your next adventures when you join us at national and regional gatherings, and I especially look forward to our monthly Western Region Wood Buffalo calls. You have been a good neighbor. We will continue to value your gifts and wisdom, and will offer opportunities for service, trusting your discernment to know when enough is enough, or A little more would be just right. We send you off with prayers for peace, joy, celebration, and good health, and blessings on your continuing journey as a UUMA member. Blessed be. We love you.
Good evening, friends. My name is Jane Perry. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm the music director at Calgary Unitarians. Over the last 16 years in over 3 Canadian cities, being Ottawa, Toronto, and now Calgary, Debra and I have been co-conspirators in the Canadian Unitarian context. And my dear, it's been a wonderful adventure. Thank you. My role tonight is to introduce the next piece of music. And in fact, this is a piece that was written by Debra Falk. She wrote this at a songwriting workshop that she took with the UU songwriter, composer Joyce Poley in Vancouver. Joyce made a big difference in Debra's life that year, helped her to find her voice figuratively, but also literally. And so when Debra came to the First Unitarian Congregation of Ottawa, where I was serving as music director, got to the end of that year and made the decision to be ordained in that church, she came to me with the song and asked if I would mind arranging it for choir so that we could sing it at her ordination service. And of course, I was only too happy to do that. Here at Calgary Unitarians, we're very lucky to have a resident vocal ensemble called Trio. And Ev, Leslie, and Brandis were only too happy to take on this piece and make a recording with me of Debra's song. So may I introduce, by the Reverend Debra Falk, Where We All Are as One.
There's a place in myself where I go. It's a place that all may know. It's in you, it's in me, in the eagle and tree. It's a place where we all are as one. As I wander this path by myself, leaping, jumping like some little lamb. Laughter is found and there's joy that abounds. Laugh in joy where we all are as one. As you wander this path on your own, with a deep sense of being alone, if you look in my eyes, see the tears that you cried, crystal tears where we all are as one. As we wander this path, you and me, and each with our own destiny, like the salmon that spawns, like the deer with her fawn, web of life where we
Debra, thank you for that beautiful song, and so beautifully sung. Wow. Next, I'd like to introduce David Holmes. He's from the Calgary Interfaith Council, CIC, and he shares how Debra's work with them has strengthened the interfaith community in Calgary and onto the world stage.
Hi, I'm Dave Holmes. I'm with the Calgary Interfaith Council, and I'm privileged to say a few words to you, Debra, as you retire and finish your ministry with the Calgary Unitarians. I have been privileged to work with you for all of the last 11 years, I think, with the Calgary Alliance for the Common Good and most recently with the Calgary Interfaith Council. Well, I want to say that you are one of the people in this city that consistently shows up. You know, whenever there is a crisis that needs to draw us together, you're there. Whenever there's a dream to pursue that requires collective action, you are there. Whenever there are important events that we celebrate together, you're there. Whenever it needs a community, whenever we come together, whatever there's an effort to bring people together, you are almost always there. That's something. You have led us up front in chairing and leading groups and boards and projects. You have also worked behind the scenes, never drawing attention to yourself, only drawing attention to the work at hand. You gather us and lead us and support us and have become one of Calgary's key leaders over this last 11 years. You are consistently encouraging. You are consistently creative. You are consistently sensitive and wise, helping us to be aware of and move away from some of the colonial tendencies that we struggle against in this society right now. You've been consistently collaborative, and you have consistently brought a smile and an unanxious presence whenever you have come. You've represented us here in Calgary, and you have represented us as far away as Jordan and most recently online in South Africa, where you had to show up in the middle of the night on our behalf. And just loads of appreciation. Debra, we are going to miss you tremendously here in Calgary. As I said, you have been one of the key leaders in this city, but mostly we want to say thank you. Thank you because for the mark that you've left on us and on the city. We're a little bit further ahead, a little bit more compassionate, a little bit more together, a little wiser because of you. So thank you, Debra, and blessings to you as you move into retirement and as you connect with family. Blessing. Thank you.
And Debra, just playing off what David said, I remember in that first year I was here, so 10 years ago, you were really wanting to grow the community from pastoral to program, I believe are the words that you were using at the time. And at the time, you saw the vision of what was happening, or you in your vision, you would have what we now have on Zoom. You saw all these screens and you saw the expansion of the congregation that way. But did you see Jordan? Did you really see South Africa? Just saying. So the next intro is for Ryan Anderson, and for many of you, I know he doesn't really need introduction. Anyway, Ryan Anderson shares how 6 people, one of whom was Debra, in a basement can become so much more. So, and what does a garden have to do with that anyway? Over to you, Ryan.
Hello, my name is Ryan Anderson. I am the lead organizer for the Calgary Alliance for the Common Good, and I just want to begin by saying thank you for inviting me to share some words with you for Debra's retirement. I remember really the first time that I got to know Debra. It was in the basement of the old Carpenters Union Hall when the Calgary Alliance consisted of about, I think it was about 6 of us, trying to bring this vision of a vehicle for justice in Calgary to life. As at the time, I came to really respect some of these qualities of Debra. She's always been someone who has just been passionate for social justice, been passionate about how the faith community can come together, and also just a person filled with this deep spirituality and wisdom. I also came to know Debra as a wonderful gardener. It was always a delight to be able to sit in her backyard and see her wonderful garden, and also see how her gardening spirit was brought into everything that she did. Some of those things were like, a good gardener, works through both sunny days and rainy days. And Debra was a leader and has been a leader who has really helped nurture the Calgary Alliance when it was both in some of its darkest and most challenging days, as well as in the midst of some of its greatest successes. There's always been Debra working and tending the soil. She's also been someone who plants seeds. She's been a wonderful teacher for many of our, both our formal teaching workshops, but also I've always been impressed how she teaches along the way. Through small conversations and interjecting at meetings and help us remember what was most important. And that was something else that has always impressed me, is how much Debra pays attention to those who are excluded and creates means of having people who are not at the table to be brought to the table, making sure that there's room and space for them. But one of the qualities of a gardener that I have valued the most in Debra is how she's seen potential in even the littlest sprouts. It was when I was probably one of the darkest times of my life, when I had just left parish ministry, that Debra saw the potential in me, and as the chair of the board, she hired me to become the lead organizer for the Calgary Alliance for the Common Good. And for that, I will always be grateful. But I've also seen that she's done the same type of work with your own congregation, whether seeing the potential in leaders within your congregation, or also just seeing the potential within your congregation as a whole and nurturing that and helping it to live into your values of compassion and social justice. Debra, you have been a wonderful leader. You have led us through many years and brought much life to this city, and we will always be grateful for your ministry, for your work, and your presence amongst us. I hope you have a wonderful retirement.
Thank you, Ryan. Catherine Burwash, a member of COSM, our Committee on Shared Ministry, shares Debra's extensive accomplishments with the Calgary Unitarians, from creating mission statement, music programs, refugees, and especially legacy.
Hello, I'm Catherine Burwash. As a member of the Committee on Shared Ministry, and on behalf of our congregation, it is my honor to confer upon our beloved minister, the Reverend Debra Falk, the status of Minister Emerita. This designation is granted to honor long and meritorious service. It's bestowed upon a minister after a formal vote of the entire congregation. It also grants her a delegate vote at the General Assembly of the Unitarian Universalist Association. In this way, Debra's contribution to our faith community will continue. The role of a minister is challenging and multifaceted. Debra has acted like a midwife, birthing spiritual and sacred growth in us as a beloved community. She has inspired, educated, supported, and empowered us. Together, we have shared the ministry of this community. Long and meritorious service. 11 years with us. There is much of merit that we could speak about today, but time only permits highlights. Together, we developed a mission statement in 2012, and it states, "We come together in beloved community, guided by our Unitarian Universalist principles and sources, to grow in wisdom, welcome and deepen relationships, and act for a just and sustainable world." Debra has led our efforts to grow in wisdom with offerings for all ages, children, youth, and adult courses, such as Building Your Own Theology, Our Whole Lives, World Religions, and theme-based listening circles. And we are so enriched by our music program with many services, performances, and a plethora of choirs. Debra unreservedly responded to the global pandemic by revising Sunday services to an online format with assistance from the worship arts team and the AV teams. And Debra encouraged us to welcome and deepen relationships by continuing to be a welcoming congregation for LGBTQ1A+ persons, offering the Introduction to Unitarian Universalism course. And she mentored interns, Samaya, Chris, and Danielle. And we have widened our circle of relationships by sponsoring refugees, providing a meeting place for the Wild Rose Buddhist Sangha, and becoming a member of the Worldwide Charter for Compassion, working diligently with the Calgary Interfaith Council, and becoming a founding member of the Calgary Alliance for the Common Good. And Debra has left a legacy of ways to act for a just and sustainable world by supporting the work of our Green Sanctuary Committee and enlarging the work of the Social Justice Committee to lovingly respond to truth and reconciliation, anti-racism efforts, a living wage, social isolation, and climate change. And so, with deep appreciation and gratitude, we present to Debra this framed certificate attesting to her new status of Minister Emerita.
This is when I'm supposed to open this, is that right? So honored, thank you.
With a lump in my throat and tears in my eyes, we move on. I'd like to introduce Samaya Oakley now. Samaya was the first Calgary Unitarian intern of our 3 interns. And now, as a ministerial colleague, talks about broken hearts, core values, and how life is ministry.
Debra, dear one, on this day, we are marking your retirement from active parish ministry at the Unitarian Church of Calgary. a congregation that you have served so admirably, faithfully, and well over the last 11 years. And as your first intern, it is indeed a bittersweet occasion that I am able to provide these thoughts as you prepare to leave what can only be termed as the culmination of a life lived in service of this faith tradition. I can remember the first time we met in the dining room at the Unitarian Universalist Family Camp at Seebeck, Washington, close to 20 years ago. Since that time, I've witnessed the way that you have been a mentor, not only to me, but so many other people, a mover and a shaker within our tradition, and a prophetic voice to continually lift up and live out our Unitarian Universalist values, not only within the Unitarian Church of Calgary, but in the wider Calgary landscape, the Canadian Unitarian Universalist landscape, and not to mention your continental and international work. You've done this work out of a deep and abiding love that permeates through everything you do. I have witnessed that love and I have felt that love. So thank you for all that you have done. I know that it has not always been easy and that your heart has been broken at times. And through it all, you held at your core the love for this faith. Not only is our faith tradition richer for it, but each person who has worked with you, each person who has been ministered by you is richer for it. And I know that while this one phase of your ministry is over, you are not yet finished in having an impact and will continue to be active in a different way in your ministry. Because, as you are quite fond of reminding me, your life is a ministry and you will always be a minister. And so, my colleague, my friend, my loved one, I wish you well in your vagabond months ahead as you take the time to discern what is waiting for you around the corner. I hope you enjoy and find new ways of living out your ministry that allow a new and different way of contributing to our faith to develop. I understand from people much wiser than me that retirement can be the most meaningful years of life. You deserve all of the best, and I hope you find it. Thank you again for your dedication, your passion, and your love. May you be well in all that you do in life.
Can you feel the love tonight? Or however that tune goes. Oh my word, it's palpable, is it not? So we now have, I think, a mystery guest. I think a mystery, but maybe not. I'm not sure. We hope. So I'm now going to introduce our mystery guest with a surprise gift for Debra.
Hello, Debra. Hello, everyone. Not a mystery anymore. My name is Tony Turner, and I'm a member of the First Unitarian Fellowship of Nanaimo. And you may know me as the author of Circle of Song, which you may sing in your congregations across Canada, which I am so grateful for. Debra, we first met when you were intern in Ottawa, and where we were living at the time. Sharon and I were living at the time. And you have always been such an inspiring presence in my life. I remember your inspiring sermons even at that early stage. And I always appreciated your big picture view of the world and of ministry. And that's always stuck with me. And I am grateful for many things. I'm grateful for your friendship, for our conversations over many glasses of wine and meals we've shared. I'm grateful for you offering me place to sleep when I was in town and I was playing music at a service or a concert in your hall. So I am grateful for that. And so I am very grateful for how you have supported me in my music and all the opportunities you've provided. And I look forward to spending more time with you when you are in Vancouver Island, now that we are here. So that is going to be fun. But a little bird told me that you, speaking of gratitude, you have a morning practice of gratitude where you are thankful for the little things that have come your way, that you're just, and I think I have this gift for you, and this gift is a song. And in writing this song, I have become, or I have developed my own little morning ritual of gratitude, and I realize how powerful it is. So thank you for that. And I'm going to sing this for you now, and I hope you like it. We love you. The morning sunlight slowly wakes me up and leads me to the warmth of my first cup. The universe begins to speak joyful tidings from the deep, a treasure trove of gifts bestowed to me. And each of these precious bread things are special gifts to me. When I breathe deep, my senses are alive. When I am still, my doubts are swept aside. These four walls that I call home, the promise of the seeds I've sown, and the birds that sing so sweetly in the trees. Yes, each of these precious blessings I'm grateful to receive. I think of each of you who take the lead. You who greet and teach and sing and read. When you share a joy or shed a tear, I hear your voices ringing clear, reminding us to live all we believe. And each of these precious blessings are special gifts to me. You need to know that all of who I am has been molded by your 1,000 loving hands. By you who labor hard and long, who fight the fight to right the wrongs. You help us be all we could hope to be. And each of these precious blessings, all of these precious blessings, all of your precious blessings mean the world to me. Thank you, Debra.
Hello, My name is Jane Ebern, and I'm president of Calgary Unitarians. Debra, we wanted to give you an appreciation of everything you've given us in these last 11 years here. On our request, Brandis Purcell and her team of quilt makers have made you a quilt. Now, quilt makers have a tradition of labeling and naming their quilts, and appropriately, we named this one Thankful. The label on the back of the quilt includes the purpose, the date of making, the place, and the names of the maker. This label provides provenance for your quilt, Debra, as it is passed down in your family, we hope, over time. As many of you know, Debra has a long-standing connection to Indigenous peoples in the Calgary area. Quilts that are gifted by our First Nations cousins strongly favor the Lone Star design and are most often pieced in solid colors. Knowing this, we decided on a pattern with a central star-like focus and done in solids. The quilt pattern is Alaska Rainbow, designed by Laundry Basket Quilts. It is made from Century Solids by Andover Fabrics. There are 8 stars for our evolving principles, and how appropriate given that today the CUC approved the 8th principle that we Calgary Unitarians had already started independently looking at. So it's so appropriate there are 8 stars, grounded by the central motif representing the light of the chalice. The rainbow palette reflects the Unitarian value of diversity and a welcoming community. And the colors are the strong, clear jewel tones, which we know that you favor. Debra, thank you so much. May this quilt provide you with fond memories of your time with us in Calgary. And now let me give you the gift, and I ask you to open it on your end.
Oh, look, it arrived. I don't want to unpack it because I heard that there was an engineer that figured out how to get it into this box. I'm going to open it when I get settled, wherever that may be, after my vagabond time. But I think
sounds like a wonderful plan. And we fortunately have some beautiful pictures of what the quilt looks like that we can share with you now.
Oh my goodness. That's my quilt? Oh my. Brandis, you are amazing. Wow.
Isn't that the most amazing quilt? I still can't get over it. Well, Debra, we wanted to give you more fond memories from members and friends of Calgary Unitarians. And we have created a memory book video. And we will now show a brief trailer of this, a couple of minutes of highlights of the full 20 minutes video. So enjoy.
Wow. And now, folks, please stand, place your hand on your heart or a glass in your hand, however you wish to celebrate. Please welcome our loving friend and minister, the Reverend Debra Falk, Minister Emerita.
Oh my goodness. Wow. So it's been a 5-tissue service for me. How do I begin to thank you for the memories that have come forward? For the amazing gifts. The quilt is incredible. Tony, a song. And Jane, to create my song as you did. Sheila, OMG. That is just too way beyond cool. The messages from everyone. I didn't know if I would be able to speak. When you take 11 years of a life dedicated, in many ways, a minister, when they come to serve a congregation, it is like I don't think marriage is quite the right term for it, but in some ways it is, because it is an incredibly intimate relationship. The blessing that there has been of going through the ups and downs of community and building community. But I have to say that some of the most thoughtful and caring things that I've heard in over the last few months or few weeks as I've been leaving have been that the legacy I leave will be shared ministry, doing this together. And that the perception of how I've done that has been from my sense of being a doula, of supporting it to happen for others. It's been heartening for me to hear that that is also the perception. And I have to mention that today at the Canadian Unitarian Council annual general meeting, there was a stepping outside of the rules and bounds of Robert's rules to invite and engage Canadian Unitarians to embrace the eighth principle, which demands that we start really stepping into the work of anti-racism work and becoming allies. There's a part of me that wishes that, oh, gee, this is just happening. And it's been something that has been so present for me to do this. This isn't time for me to do a sermon, though. What I do want to say is that you have given me so many gifts, stretched me as a human being and as a minister. There have been some really challenging times, but it wouldn't be a relationship of depth if there weren't some of those. I've witnessed this community be so present with who we are as a faith tradition, in the welcome, in the willingness to say oops and move forward. You know, I've had a couple of the people who are applying for interim here ask me about this congregation. And the one thing that I have to say is this is a place of saying, yes, let's try it. And that is an incredible thing that this community brings. The willingness to try, the willingness to step beyond what we've already been in the aspiration of what we could be. And I am so grateful. I'm grateful for this time. I'm grateful for the honor you bestow on me of being Minister Emerita it has a huge significance. And the gift I want to leave you with, other than, there'll be some stuff I've left undone that'll still be left to do. But on our pulpit, you will notice this quilt. This quilt was a gift to me at my ordination. And I gift it to this congregation, that when you come back together in person and see it there, you might remember me. That its legacy will also live on, as I hope mine will as well. I am so blessed to have been here for 11 years, so blessed by the learning that I will still take away from this and our time together. And as has been mentioned, I will be a minister forever. And while I have learned to sit on my hands and not say, I'll do it, to everything, that's been one of the lessons you've taught me. Thank you. I will still be contributing to this incredible faith tradition. And my contribution will be enriched by the many lessons and relationships from this place. I thank you all. And while as a minister, I could wax on eloquently for on and on, I just want to say that as much as I wanted to prepare a sort of a written speech for today, I didn't. That was one of my challenges to me, is to speak to you from my heart with the deep love that I have and always will have for this community and each of you. Thank you. Thank you so much for today. Okay, I'm done. A chalice lit in our midst is a sign of that pure light that glows within each of us. That light that comes together when we come in community and strengthens and illuminates the influence we can have in the wider world. Let us take that light now into our hearts as we go forth from this gathering, knowing that we are strengthened by the light within each of us, and we magnify the contribution we can make to the wider world. Namaste and blessings to all. And with this, we extinguish our chalice.
Wow. Massive thanks to COSM for organizing, to Ev for the slides and videos, Brandis and Friends for stitching, the AV team for orchestrating, Jane Perry for playing, and to all the speakers and those celebrating in all the ways you do. And as we conclude this more formal part, you are now invited to our post-webinar party. So click on the link that is on the last slide. You will also find it in the chat to continue the celebrations and to speak with Debra directly. For those of you who want to phone in to join the party, please call this number, 587-328-1099, and then input this meeting ID and passcode. The meeting ID is 853-1955-2696, and the passcode 1703. We'll see you over there with such love.